بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved ones, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we are going to continue the Manasik al-Hajj of Sayyid Ayatollah al-Uzma Sayyid Ali Sistani Dz. And finally, we are done with the lengthy introduction. But it had a lot of things, especially for the Hausa students. It's always good that when they go, or not to Hausa students, those people are leading the Hajj caravans. It's always nice that they learn the Manasik al-Hajj properly, because they're taking caravans for Hajj. They're taking huge responsibilities. And if they say, no, we are just going to put a Maulana there, and then you need to double check from the teachers of the Maulana, from the institution of Sayyidi Sistani, and take the responsibility from them, that is he qualified properly to teach Manasik al-Hajj and to lead the caravan of Hajj. Because you are dumping it on somebody's shoulder, you still take responsibility for appointing someone who is knowing or who is not knowing the Manasik al-Hajj. So either you, if you are a caravan leader, know the Manasik al-Hajj, or appoint someone who's verified his experience, and he has knowledge also, not experience. Sometimes they say, oh, we have been going for Hajj for 25 years. Yes, but then do you have the experience of the laws of Hajj? How can they not know? Yeah, I mean, I know so many youth, they know the basic Manasik al-Hajj, but there are some fine details, troubleshootings. So someone who is with you, a scholar or something like that, he need to be a troubleshooter. Otherwise, he should not go and take free Hajj and spoil the Hajj of the people and take a huge responsibility. So, and there I have seen so many spoilers of Hajj, so many Maulanas, Dhakirin, they go for Hajj and they take caravan and they are not. And I have seen some of the youth like you guys, okay? They are more expert than some of these Maulanas and Dhakirin. They go for Hajj. Yes, if you go to Karbala, it's nice to take a Dhakir, because you will need to cry on Imam Hussein and read the Masaib. But for Hajj, even in Medina, okay. But for Hajj, you don't need a dhakir, unless if that dhakir was properly equipped, and that's possible also. I know a few dhakirin, they're excellent in Manasik al-Hajj, more better than the muammamin, or those who are wearing amamas, and done like 10, 15 years of house, or 20, but they lack the rules of Manasik al-Hajj. So it is the responsibility of the caravan leader to learn and to be aware of this ahkam, or to appoint someone who he takes the responsibility that this Maulana or this scholar or this guide is qualified and equipped with Manasik al-Hajj, or let the Hajj know that, see, I am just taking the administrative responsibility. I'm not an alim, and I don't know, but we have a Maulana. It's up to you. If you trust in that Maulana, that's fine. I'm not taking responsibility. You are on your own. You learn your Manasik al-Hajj. Don't say that I brought you. I'm an administrator only. So you need to put a disclaimer. Yes, some caravan of Hajj said, if we say that, we will not have Hajj. The Hajj is our source of life on dunya. So if that's the case, then be prepared. That what's the difference between you and those who declare the Eid one day earlier? So it's all become like dunya and things. So basically, this is the end time, and we have a lot of messed up situation happening in with regards to the religious responsibilities and religious institutions. Not all, but many are there, and I have bad experience with some of these institutions and some of these Maulanas, some of these Dhakirin, so on. But there are amazing Dhakirin who are much aware about the Manasik al-Hajj than the scholars, and there are some youth, they are much aware, and there are some decent scholars. They have all the, and even like even if I go with Manasik with Hujjaj, if I'm in trouble, I'll not just give fatwa, I'll try to find out, open the Manasik al-Hajj. I used to go Hajj with several muqallideen I used to have, and that was a big challenging to know the masail. So I'll not memorize the masail of other maraja, because it will create confusion. So I'll just stick to Sayyid al-Khoi, Quddus as-Sirruh, and Sayyid Sistani, and then have all these books with me. Those days were the days of books. So every time I'll go for Hajj with caravan, I'll have this one bag full of all manasik and Hajj of 8, 9 maraja. So then from you, who's your marja, this I'll give them the masal of that marja. So it's not about memorizing the masal, it's about how are you able to help people out in their issues of Hajj which that encounter. And nowadays you have this gadgets available. You can download all the manasik al Hajj there. So if a person comes and says, I'm following this marja, don't be shy. If you are a Maulana, don't be shy to look into it. No one will judge you. Oh, this is the Maulana. He doesn't know the Masail. Yeah, so what happened? I'm the weakest Maulana. So don't be shy. You see, you need to help him. Look into it. And many of them, they appreciated this Maulana is not cheating us. If he doesn't know, he opens the book. Or we used to go to the Daftar of Ayatollah Sistani and get some rulings which are not even Manasik al-Hajj. So we have to take responsibility. That means we have to be truthful with the people when we take them for Hajj. So this is something which is very important. And you who are studying this ahkam, study properly. So when we teach our youth, they became the muallims of manasik al-hajj in Hajj, and they started guiding others who are not able to be guided, who are busy in shopping. So this shopping is like the what they say, the biggest catastrophe and atrocity on the people going for Hajj. Before Hajj, they don't come to the Hajj classes. Why? Oh, I need to buy this, I need to buy that, I need to do shopping. Okay. Once the shopping is done, 1 2 days left, and he attends last 1 or 2 days of Manasik al Hajj. We go to Medina, 5 days of Medina. We start again Manasik al Hajj. There is shopping also. Baba, you did your shopping there in your hometown. No, I need to buy gifts for the people who gave me gift. They came from Hajj. They brought me gift. I need to, and especially the women. Once we arrive in Makkah al-Mukarramah, Sheikhna, where is the market? Baba, ask about the where is Kaaba, not market. No, but because people they gave us gift and we want to also buy gifts, and this gift exchanging is very big musibat. They distract you from Hajj and Umrah. If you do your things properly, then buy as much as gift. Get a container of gifts. You see. And nowadays, what you buy from Makkah, Medina, you can buy from your hometown, from those people who used to come from Qatar and Dubai. I said, don't waste your time there. Just get the gifts from here, okay? Just recite some labbaik Allahumma labbaik on your gifts and just give it to them. Make it. It's not my hadith of the Prophet. And just let the flavor of Hajj be on it. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. This gift has become Hajj, and give it to them. I'm just joking. Don't do it seriously. So the thing is, you can buy the gifts anywhere, but focus on the rulings of Hajj. Hajj, if you are spending like 10 to 20,000 dollars or euros or going for Hajj, then make sure that you don't mess up with the ahkam of Hajj. Try to put like 5 6 hours just to learn the things which are do's and don'ts. You don't have to know the details, but you need to know what you should not do. And if you do, how should you fix it? This is all what you need, and this is not too much. So from today, inshallah, we are done with the muqaddimah, we are done with the miqat. Today we are going to start from the ihram, and ihram is the foundation of the manasik al-hajj. So let's try to go through these ahkam of, and these will be from the manasik al-hajj of Sayyid S Sistani Dz. And these manasik are going to be from rule 177 and 198. So here comes the question: do I need to know all the 25 things in detail? Say the Sistani and other Maraja, they say no, you don't have to. Just know the things you might encounter. Okay, like looking at na-mahram women, or looking at a na-mahram guy, what type of looks you will look. Will those be crazy looks or decent looks? All these kind of things you need to know, because this is something which encounters you, because you'll be seeing women, you'll be seeing men, men will be seeing women, women will be seeing men. So this is one of the things. What are the rulings with regards to looking at na-mahram women in the state of ihram? Number one. Number two, the things which you encounter. Mirrors. You come to the hotel, there's a huge mirror in the bathroom. So what should you do? Should you no, like you'll be cursed or something like that? So you need to know. So when you go to this, some of these who are very much they have learned the laws, they take them tapes, like tapes, okay. And they once they arrive the hotel, they tape their mirror with the towel. They don't want to see their face. They hate their faces. It's not that they just don't want to violate the turuk of ihram. So this much they are careful about the things like the dress you will wear, the shoes, covering the head, like cell phone. You cannot talk to people like this. You can talk to people like this on cell phone, or you can have your buds, you see, as long as it does not cover the entire ear, because ear is part of the head. Okay, you cannot cover the head. These things we are going to go in detail, and we are going to check out what are the rulings of Sayyidi Sistani Damodullah with regards to these things. These are very important things. Sa'i is the easiest thing. Tawaf is the most sophisticated thing. So tawaf, and tawaf is your foundation of Hajj. Your Hajj means visiting. You are going to visit Allah. That means the house of Allah. Okay. So if you mess up with tawaf, why did you go there? Why did you even just learn the rules of tawaf? Tawaf have seven, eight conditions. Okay. So just then 2 rakat tawaf is easy. Sa'i is easy. Staying in Arafat is easy. Muzdalif, everything is easy. As I said, there are four things. Okay. Two things you need to have wudu, proper wudu. What are these two things? Tawaf and Salatul Tawaf. Other than these two things, if you have gas problems, you did not find those mint sauce or mint tablets or whatever, don't worry. Just hold yourself, okay, in Tawaf and Salatul Tawaf. Once the Salatul Tawaf is done, you are free. But don't mess up with the people praying around you. They might smell garlic or something. Anyhow, so the basic thing, two things, just be careful. Tawaf, Salatul Tawaf. They need wudu. People they say, oh, my wudu broke. I'm doing sa'i. My wudu broke. I did ihram. I'm not in wudu. I'm doing ihram. Don't worry about it. Only two things they require your wudu and purification. Tawaf, and that's why a woman in period, she can do sa'i between Safa and Marwa. A woman in period, she can do labbaik Allahumma labbaik. She can enter the state of ihram. She can go to Arafat. She can go to Muzdalifah. She can pay everything she can do except for tawaf and salat of tawaf. Okay, and it has its rules. We are going to talk about it later on. So what should a woman do in period? If we'll explain later. So these two things require purification. And there is no verbal obligation, verbal dhikr, except for two things in the entire Hajj. Arafat, is there something wajib to say? No. Muzdalifah, no. Mina, no. Safa and Marwa, no. Tawaf around the Kaaba, no. Nothing, no. There are only two things you have to vocalize it. Okay? Number one, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. You cannot become hyperbolic or phonic person and did you say labbaik? Yeah. Didn't you hear me? No. I said it in my mind. No, 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 no. First of all, I'm not hyperbolic or funny like you. I cannot telepathic mind. And second, you need to vocalize labbaik. It's for labbaik only. The rest is all recommended. So many times. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Two labbaiks. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Done. You are in. You said Allahu Akbar in Salah. You said labbaik in Ihram. That's vocalization. And then 2 rakat Salah. You cannot pray Allahu Akbar. Subhana bil azim wa bihamdih. No, you have to vocalize your Salat. So these are the only two things. See how easy Allah has made Hajj. And then the only thing which has so many rules is Tawaf. So as long as you have done your homework in Tawaf, okay, troubleshootings, you are okay. You don't have to. You can carry like this kind of things with you, bottle of water, and so when your wudu breaks during tawaf, like then don't spray like this. Okay, like if the puff is greater, I don't know the puff of this. It's very mild. So you have to puff a lot. Maybe your bottle will get empty. Let's see the puff of the. Don't take this and puff on your face. Nothing in it. Anyhow, but you can see this one. A lot of water came out. So this is something you can do wudu with it. Or if you want to spray, make sure that the spray starts from here and then you bring the water down, because wudu is from up to down, from up to down, from up to down. You don't say up to down. No, up to down means logical up to down, not illogical up to down. Okay. According to the school of Ahlul Bayt, this is up, down is the end. This is up, down is the end of the face. So up to down, you go with the logical sequence. We respect all the madhahib, but for school of Ahlul Bayt, this is lazim, this is must. And wudu, if your wudu is wrong, kiss your hajj goodbye, because kiss your tawaf goodbye, kiss your salat al-tawaf goodbye. Okay? Kiss your $20,000 goodbye. So therefore, these are the essential things one need to do, and the rest of the hajj is easy. So tawaf is, you are visiting, when you go and visit a king, you have so many codes, where this, where that. When you enter to the king, you have to just wait until the king tells you Bismillah, then he will give you another ishara, then you will sit, then he will give you another ishara, then you will talk. That, so there are so many protocols for the kings of the world, and people observe when they visit the kings. We are visiting the king of the kings, the Almighty. At least these little bit 6 7 rules are not too much. You see, it's not for Allah. Allah is not going to benefit from these rules, but it's for yourself, and to respect the sacred land or sacred place, how people they come and they observe the actions. This is for you, and for the secrecy of the place, and for the respect of all the other hujjaj. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he doesn't care. And he's more closer to us than the jugular vein. But when you come to his house, then there are rules and regulations to visit his house. So therefore, you have to be in the state of ihram. And we go to the king, you wear the best clothes. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the worst clothing. That means the clothing of the grave. When you go to the grave, they shroud you with 3 cloths. Okay? The same thing, like one is the top qamis, and the second is the loin, and then the third is covering the face. But since you are living, so no need to cover your face. On the contrary, in the state of ihram for men and women, it's haram to cover the head for men, it's haram to cover the face for women. So the third kafan is not needed. So Allah wants you to come to the way you are going to go to him when you leave this world. Okay, simple, simplicity, with all the humble and modesty and clean. That's why we put perfume on the camphor, is like a perfume and a disinfectant on the mayyat. So these kind of things are like visiting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Though I'm not now talking about the 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 philosophical aspect of those things, but it's just to give you a small gist. Then when you do these kind of things, remember that you are in the journey to the hereafter. And this is like wearing 2 pieces of kafan. The one day the ghusl will be given to you after long life, inshallah, in the wood, under the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this time you do your ghusl, you wear your own 2 pieces of kafan, and then you are going to visit Allah. There you are going to visit Allah in the realm where there's no barrier between you and the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Feeling the presence. See, in this world there is barrier, so you have to breach the barriers and come to that spiritual state, and detach totally from dunya yourself, and focus on, like labbaik you said, you are divorcing the dunya. Okay, when you clip your hair or unlock yourself from ihram, you are remarrying the dunya. So dunya should be disconnected from you. Like when we leave this world, dunya will be disconnected. So subhanallah, there's a lot of pondering to do in the manasik of hajj. And if you want, there is a session I've given on YouTube just for these kind of things, and how to relate hajj and the hadith of Shibli, where the Shibli goes to hajj and comes back to Imam alayhi salatu, Imam Zayn al-Abidin, and says, Yabna Rasulullah, I did the hajj. And Lord, so Imam, he was like, mashallah, like he had hunted a lion, and he came and Imam Zain al-Abidin said, "Oh Shibli, when you said labbaik, did you mean in this? When you wore the ihram, did you when you said I'm entering the state of ihram, did you mean this? So there's difference between wearing the ihram and entering the state of ihram." So therefore, Shibli was like down all the way. Oh my goodness! And I thought I did the Hajj. He said the next year I repeated the Hajj. the way Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam taught me. So, so those who are going for Hajj, they need to try to relate themselves to external Hajj with internal Hajj. So don't let only your physical appearance do Hajj, let your internal Hajj also be there. So together, like when we do Salat, we cannot just do external Salat, we have to internally also do Salat. You cannot say Allahu Akbar, God is greatest, and in your mind and heart, my wife is the greatest. My nahari is the greatest. My chicken tikka masala, my biryani is greatest. My job is the greatest. So everything is greatest in your heart other than Allah. But your tongue says God is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. So the same thing. No, God has to be greatest from in and out. So Hajj, everything you do, it needs to be inner Hajj and external Hajj, esoteric and inoteric, or whatever they say, inside and outside. So let me just go before the time goes away from us. So inshallah, we are going to enter the state of Ihram. And enter the state of Ihram is different than wearing Ihram. Remember, I told you before also, and I'm going to repeat this every time. There are the books, they have wrong translation in Urdu and in English. In Urdu say मैं ihram बांध रहा हूँ. Okay, but then what is the ihram? There is no other. मैं ihram बांध रहा हूँ, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And then in English, I'm wearing, that is worse. Because in Urdu, बांध रहा हूँ can be also niyat बांध रहा हूँ. That I'm aqd niyat al-ihram. So they took it from Arabic word. Aqd means tying, bonding, tying. Okay, I'm tying the intention of ihram. Aqd niyat al-ihram. So in Urdu, they say ihram band rao. That means niyat ihram band rao. That means intention of ihram I'm tying. It depends on how they understand. If they understand ihram band rao as a dress, there's a problem. If they understand that I'm tying the intention. But when they translate it to English, it became worse. They took it literally. I'm wearing the ihram. They did not say I'm fixing the intention of ihram. I'm tying the intention of ihram. Okay, I'm contracting the intention of ihram, like I'm binding, okay, binding the intention of ihram, like binding upon myself that I'll stay away from 25 things. So there's a difference between wearing ihram and making the intention of ihram. So that's something which needs to be careful. So we are not going to talk about now the dress of ihram, because dress of ihram is one of the parts of 25 things, and that's only for men. Women, they can have their ihram in their intention of ihram in their regular attire. For men, first they have to change and put wearing ihram, libasul ihram is wajib, and making the intention of ihram is wajib. So what is the intention of ihram? I am entering the state of ihram, not wearing ihram. For what? For Umrah of Tamattu. For what? Why Umrah Tamattu? Because it's connected to Hajj Tamattu. For Hajj Tamattu. Why Hajj Tamattu? Because it is my first Hajj. We call it Hajjat al-Islam. Because it's my first Hajj, Hajjat al-Islam. And why are you doing first Hajj? Because I want to achieve the nearness of Allah. Because it's wajib, obligatory upon me. Wujuban. And why are you doing this wajib? To achieve the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qurbatan lillahi ta'ala. So the meaning of niyat is inside your heart. You don't have to vocalize it. You have to vocalize labbaik, but you don't have to vocalize the intention of ihram. It's inside your heart. So this is what explicitly say the Sistani says, wajibatul ihram thalatha. Obligations of ihram are three. Kayfiyatul ihram doesn't mean how do I wear the libas of ihram. It means how do I enter the state of ihram, the spiritual state, like the whole state where you stay away from 25 things, not only one stitched attire. Wajibatul ihram, ثلاثة أمور. Three things or three requirements are there in the obligations of ihram. Number one, النية. الأمر الأول النية, intention. ومعنى النية, and the meaning of intention, أن يعقد. See, this is عقد. عقد in Urdu, it can be translated like binding or band raha, but it is not like wearing the ihram. in Urdu, wearing the ihram should be mein pehen raha hu. But the problem is that translation happened wrong, and many of the Urdu people, they have understood band raha hu wrong. An yaqid al-azm, he needs to bind his determination. That means he's determining, committing himself, commitment, binding, commitment, yaqid. Al-azm, determination, that he's committing himself, he's determining, he's binding himself to perform the manasik of Hajj and Umrah, to do the manasik of Hajj and Umrah, الاتيان بالحج والعمرة متقربا إلى الله تعالى, that he is going to perform this to achieve the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, do I need to do the explicit intentions, to stay away from 25 things, to stay away from looking into the mirror, having intimate relations with my spouse, stay away from perfume, blah, 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 blah. He said, no, you don't have to say all that. You see, just, you don't have to know details. In general, you know that there are things you need to stay away. Then later on, try to find out. You have, the bus ride is about 5 hours from Medina to Makkah. You can open the book and try to see what are the 25 things. Though I always say do it before even you enter the state of ihram, because say the Sistani has a problem with the nether. If you do the ihram with nether, then you need to stay away from those 25 things all the way. Otherwise, your nether will be invalid. متقربا إلى الله ولا يعتبر فيها المعرفة التفصيلية, and knowing the details is not required. بما يشتمل عليه نسكه, with whatever is inclusive in his rituals. Okay, so rituals, they include from the takbir, from the niyyah, talbiyah till till the taqsir. You don't need to know all these details. Okay, بل تكفي المعرفة الإجمالية, rather it is sufficient to know a general lump sum meaning, that I know that there are things I need to avoid. That's it. That's sufficient. فلو لم يعلم المكلف, so therefore, if the responsible person did not know during the niyyah, حين النية بتفاصيل ما يجب عليه في العمرة, with the details of whatever is obligated in the umrah, for example, or the hajj, if it was intention of hajj, كفاه أن يتعلمه شيئا أن يتعلمه شيئا فشيئا. It would be sufficient for him to learn it step by step, things by things, okay, one by one. من الرسالة العملية, from the manasik al-hajj, okay, from the book of laws of hajj, or ممن يثق به من المعلمين, or from those whom he trusts from the teachers, okay, the guides. If the guide, regardless of alim, dhakir, whoever, if he is learned, educated of manasik al-hajj, okay, we have our brother here, if he learns all this manasik al-hajj, he can be guide to others as well. So all my students, when they go for manasik, they go for hajj, they're not ulamas, but they guide others. They try to help each other out. Okay. So now, ويعتبر في النية أمور القربة. So the intention, there are certain things you need to have in the intention, in your heart, not necessary. Yes, vocalization is recommended, but if you don't vocalize and the meaning, whole meaning of entering the state of ihram to perform manasik al-hajj is there, to achieve the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or closeness to him, or to have the in a specific place. Remember miqat, or somewhere parallel to the miqat, to say the Sistani's opinion, or somewhere before entering the state of before the miqat via nether. سائر العبادات القربة والإخلاص كما في سائر العبادات. Okay, number one, achieve to the intention should include number one, a closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as in other acts of worship. Al-Qurba wal-Ikhlas, the nearness to Allah, and the sincerity should be there in the intention, as in any other acts of worship. كما في سائر العبادات. حصولها في مكان خاص، وقد تقدم بيانه في مبحث المواقيت. It needs this niyyah of ihram needs to be in a specific place, and it has to be in a designated place, specific place, as it has been explained in the section of miqat. Should I repeat all those? No, enough. We took so many sessions of miqat. So, okay, I'm not going to repeat. But if you have any problem, go. The main thing is for people arriving Jeddah airport, they can enter the state of ihram with nadhr, because Jeddah is before the parallel point of Juhfa or Masjid al-Shajara, which are the miqat of people coming from Medina or north or arriving by plane. So that is number one. And number two, specific place. Number three, ta'yin al-manwi. You have to be specific in what are you doing. You cannot keep it in limbo. I am entering the state of ihram to achieve nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from here, from the miqat. Finish. No. Why? Ihram could be from Umrat al-Tamattu. It could be for Umrat al-Mufrada. It could be for Hajj al-Tamattu. Be specific. Which one? Or the Hajj are also three types. Hajj al-Qiran, which is not your Hajj. Hajj al-Ifraj, which is not. For the overseas, it's only Hajj al-Tamattu. So obviously, when you're going from overseas, your intention is saturated with Hajj al-Tamattu. And you know that you have to do Umrat al-Tamattu before Hajj al-Tamattu. So it is already there in your intention. Okay? Like before the coming of the holy month of Ramadan, you have in your mind, I need to fast this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to achieve the nearness. That's it. That's your intention. You don't need to give the biography of your life. Fulan ibn Fulan, standing in this place. I'm going to enter the state of Ihram to avoid those 25 things, which are A, B, C, D, E, F, G until Z. And then I'm going to do that to to perform the amal of Umrat al-Tamattu, which is part of Hajj al-Tamattu, which is my first wajib, Hajj, which is to achieve the. If the whole meaning is there in your heart, you don't need to say it. That's your intention. So ta'yin al-manwi, but be specific inside your heart. What type of ihram is it? Is it ihram of Hajj or Umrah? وأنه الحج أو العمرة. وأن الحج, emitted for Hajj, is it Hajj al-Tamattu or Hajj Qiran or Ifrad? Qiran, Ifrad is those people who are living in the vicinity of Makkah. وَإِذَا كَانَ عَنْ غَيْرِهِ. If you're doing niyabat, you need to put that in your heart as well. I'm not doing this Hajj for me. I'm doing it for my father, for marhum, for fulan. Niyabat of someone who has given me niyabat. Like you can pay someone to do Hajj for your marhumin. You see, you can pay their expenses and pay something for their efforts. You see, because you're hiring somebody. So yeah, you can give him money. He will do Hajj for your whoever relatives you have, marhum. So this is something which is niyabat. So you need to put in your heart that I am doing this Umrah or I am doing this Hajj. Or if it's Umrah al-Mufrada, if it's Umrah Tamattu, and I'm doing it with niyabat of Fulan who gave me this much money to perform the Umrah or Hajj or Hajj al-Tamattu on his behalf. وَإِذَا كَانَ عَنْ غَيْرِهِ. If it was representation, the Hajj Hajj by representation, representing someone, فَلَا بُدَّ مِنْ قَصْدِ ذَلِكَ. Then it is necessary to include that in your intention. وَيَكْفِي فِي وُقُوعِهِ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. But if he is going to perform the Hajj from himself, he doesn't have to say, I am Fulan ibn Fulan. I was born in the city of Karachi or in the country of Pakistan, which is located in the Middle East, which is like away from Persian Gulf, the Bahr al-Arab, and whatever. You don't need to tell the story of your life. You don't need to even say, just say it's my Hajj, finish inside your heart. Okay? وَيَكْفِي. It is sufficient for the Hajj. It is sufficient that the intention is binded or fixed or happens, the intention happens on his behalf not to do anything for other, like not to make the intention of representation. So if you don't make the intention of representation, it's your Hajj. Don't I have to say it is my Hajj? No, you don't have to say. Once you say I'm entering the state of Ihram for Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Islam, Wujub al-Qurban. Khalas, I mean, it's in your heart. You're doing your Hajj. You don't have to say I, Fulan, Fulan, Fulan. No. So it is sufficient not to mention anything. Okay, you don't need to. It is sufficient for the niyat, for the intention to be fixed, or to exist, that you don't mention anyone in the intention. If you don't mention anyone, that means it is your Hajj. ويكفي في وقوعه, and the niyat, the intention, will happen on his behalf, as long as he doesn't have any other person in his intention. So he did not intend niyabat for someone else, then it is his intention. Whenever Sayyidi Sistani says Azhar, those who are Hawza students, this is mas'ala khilafiyya. So check your marja. Check your marja. Your marja might have different. What is the meaning of Azhar for Hawza students? This word Azhar comes normally from the dalil. So dalil, for example, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha nudiya lis-salati min yawm al-jum'ah fas'aw. So some scholars, they say fas'aw zahir, apparently it appears that it is wajib, it's a command. Some scholars will say no, we have another contextual clues which does not support this to be obligation. More apparently, it is recommended. Al-Azhar, more apparent. So one marja' will say apparently it is permissible. More marja' will say on the contrary, more apparently is not permissible, or more apparently it has more conditions in it. So this Azhar and Zahir is, that means this fatwa is related to an evidence. It has two indication. Most of the ulamas, they took the Zahir. Sayyidi Sistani says no, for me that is not apparent. More apparent is this. Wal Azhar, more apparently, أنه يكفي في سقوط الواجب بالنذر انطباق المنذور على المأتي به. And more apparently, it is sufficient that the wajib bin nadhr, obligation of the nadhr, okay, when it is applied on whatever you did nadhr, it is done. So for example, you said, for example, I'm not making another, then I'll have to make it in Jeddah, because making a vow. So you made a vow, nadhr, lillahi alayya, for example, an uhrim لعمرة التمتع من هنا من جدة. Okay, الآن I'm making it an obligation upon me for Allah. This is the intention of nadhr. I'm making. Don't say I'm making another. If you're making another for Allah, then you're saying I'm going to nadhr. I'm doing nadhr on nadhr, and that breaks the nadhr of ihram, and your nadhr of nadhr becomes wajib. Then you have to do another intention, and anyhow it messes up. So just say, don't say, because many times people, they say lillahi anzuru. I'm making a vow that I'm going to do nadhr. Baba, this is nadhr. Don't say nadhr. Just say what is the meaning of nadhr. The meaning of nadhr, I am making it obligation upon myself for Allah. Lillahi alayya. Lillahi, for Allah, alayya, upon me. Ala is upon. Assalamu alayka, peace be upon you. Alayya, ala. Okay? Lillahi, lam, laka, li, lillah, for you, for me, for Allah. For Allah, I am making it compulsory upon me that I am going to enter the state of ihram from here, from Jeddah, and now. So you don't have to make an intention, I'm entering the state of ihram because I did nadhr and I have to enter this. He said, khalas, done. Yakfi fi suqut al-wajib. It is sufficient because you made the intention already in nadhr. So now you don't have to make an intention of ihram. Why? You enter the state of ihram In your heart, you're entering the state of ihram, staying from 25 things away. You wore your dress and you said, I'm entering the state of ihram in your heart. You don't have to give details of nether. Just you're doing the application of nether, finish. ويكفي في سقوط الواجب. What was wajib? Wajib was to define and specify and this and that. So you already specified in your nether. I'm making upon myself. What are you making upon yourself? Obligation for Allah. Okay, this is your intention associated with nether, that I'm going to enter the state of ihram. For what? For Umrah al-Tamattu. For what? For Hajj al-Tamattu. For what? Because it's my first wajib, Hajj al-Islam. For what? Because it's wajib, wujuban. For what? To achieve the nearness of Allah. So in nether, you already mention your intention. So the intention is سقط. يكفي في سقوط الواجب بالنذر. It is sufficient that the wajib, the obligations of intention, are dropped if you have made an intention of nether, because intention of nether was a package of what you are planning to do already. Okay? انطباق المنذور على المأتي به. So it is what you are going to do after nether, you already have mentioned it in the nether. So what you mention in nether is going to already be applied after nether. So you don't need to say the niyat because it was in the package, or intend the niyat in your heart because you already intended it with nether. What are you going to do? I'm making it obligation upon myself to do these things, A, B, C, D, E, F. Khalas. So he said it is sufficient. So if you did not say, Ohrimu, I'm entering state of, after you did nether, if you did not say, Ohrimu, I'm entering the state of ihram for Umrah Tamattu, Hajj Tamattu, Hajj al-Islam, Wujub al-Qurban. Khalas. You don't need to say that. It's sufficient. Your intention had a package inclusive in it. ولا يتوقف على قصد كوني حجا نذريا مثلا. And it does not depend your intention. If you are to do the intention, okay, you don't have to say this is ihram via nether. It is depending on my nether. You don't have to say all that kind of thing. Just say your intention in your heart, or verbally it's mustahab, but you don't need to go and say, because I did nether, I'm entering enter the state of ihram from here, from Jeddah, from Alan, from now. I'm entering the state of Baba. It's not needed. Just khalas, you enter the state of ihram. And even if you don't do that, it was inclusive in your package of nether. على كونه حجا نذريا. You don't have to say that this hadar is based on nether. Whoops, what happened? كما يكفي. And it is also sufficient في كون حجة الإسلام انطباق الواجب بالإصالة عليه. You don't have to say حجة الإسلام as well, that it is my first Hajj. Why? Because that's what you are doing in reality. Have you done your Hajj before? No. Then this is your Hajj, first Hajj. So it's embedded inside your whole spirit and system, and the whole package is your, it's Hajj wajib. Okay? كوني في كونه حجة الإسلام انطباق الواجب بالإصالة. So it is originally obligated upon you. Other Hajj is not obligated upon you, unless if some exceptional cases of niyaba. So as long as you have come to perform your Hajj, your first Hajj, and you have been saying to thousands of people, I'm going for my first Hajj, please forgive me if I've wronged anybody. Baba, just ask people's forgiveness every time. Why only for Hajj? You maybe if you say, no, I'm not forgiving you, you'll be losing $20,000 or something like that. No, every time and time people, they need to ask people to forgive. People, not only for Hajj, or not only in my Ramzan or Eid or going to Ziyarat. So anyhow, yes, there is a philosophy. They say whenever we travel, we need to ask people to forgive us, because we don't know these travels. We might come back, we might not come back, because many people, they go for Hajj, they don't come back. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep our Hujjaj safe and secure, and they come back to their family members, their beloved ones, safe and secure. كما يكفي في كون حجة الإسلام انطباق الواجب بالإصالة عليه ولا يحتاج إلى قصد زائد. It doesn't need extra intention. Okay, there is no requirement for extra intention. Ruling number 177. So this was the foundation. Now we are going to take the troubleshootings. لا يعتبر في صحة النية التلفظ بها. It is not necessary to for the intention to be correct that you vocalize it. Okay, وإن كان مستحبا, though it is recommended. Like mustahab, people say it's mustahab, not wajib, so khalas. No, no, no. Mustahab means if you do it, you'll get reward. It's a rewardable act. More than that, for many, if they don't say by love, they don't feel that they have done intention. So it's like confirming whatever is in, out. You see, whatever is inside their heart and mind, the tongue confirms it. So just say it, okay? Because you will get rewarded and it affirms your intention. Why? Because if you say intention, utter it with your tongue and not intended in the heart, then you did not intend. You just uttered, you mumble jumbled some words. So therefore, inside is important, outside is not important. If you say it, you'll be rewarded. كما لا يعتبر في قصد القربة الإخطار بالبال. Even the achieving the nearness to Allah, it is not necessary to bring your mind, I'm achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm doing it for the sake of, no, 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 no. Because the thing which pushed you to do this Hajj, initially to spend $20,000 nowadays or euros, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the forgiveness of the sins, to achieve the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The whole idea was to achieve that. If you're going spending $20,000 for riyah and show off, then you need to go to the mental institute and get some jolts of electricity in your mind and fix yourself because you're going there. 20,000. Do something else cheaper to show off. Not $20,000, but subhanallah. So people going Hajj, spending their earning of annual earnings. Some people, they have their, in Pakistan and in some of the poor countries, they have to use their savings of like 20, 30 years to go for Hajj. So they will not be going except because they want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the qurbatan ilallah is always there, achieving the near. بل يكفي الداعي على حسب سائر العبادات. It is sufficient what motivated you. The motivation is sufficient. You don't need to bring. The motivation of Hajj was all to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The whole idea is to be near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similar to all the other acts of worship. And 2 minutes left. We will stop here. Ruling number 178. لا يعتبر في صحة الإحرام العزم على ترك محرماته حدوثا وبقاء. Okay, what does that mean? It is not necessary. It is not necessary for a person for the validation of ihram, the validation of the ihram, the state of ihram, to make in your heart that I am going to continuously, okay, stay away from the 25 things, okay, whenever it encounters. So whether it encounters or it continues, I'm not going to, you don't need to say, you don't need to say, whenever it encounters me, I will stay away. You don't need to say, or no, I will always stay in this state of ihram, baqa'an. I'm going to, from the beginning till the taqsir, I'm going to stay away. Baqa'an, baqi, I'll be remaining on the abstinence of 25 things. I'll remain avoiding 25 things. This is baqa, I'll remain. Huduthan, whenever something encounters, no, I'm making intention, I'm not going to look into the mirror. So whenever it encounters, or no, just that intention continues. So in both cases, like for example, you saw a mirror, I'm going to stay away from mirror. You don't need to say that when it comes. It's already there in your heart. Or the entire time you will stay away from the things which are prohibited in ihram. فيصح الإحرام حتى على العزم على ارتكابها. He says more than that, ihram will be valid even if you intend to um, intend to do the violations of ihram. حتى مع العزم على ارتكابها. Your ihram will not be affected. But you said something about ihram gets messed up if somebody intends to go into the shade, travel into the shaded means of transportation. Isn't that he's intending to travel in plane in daytime? And you said it's going to mess up with their ihram. No, it's not going to mess up with their ihram if it was not nether, if it was from the miqat. From the miqat, you entered the shaded bus means of transportation. That means you entered the state of ihram like with the proper place, like parallel to miqat or miqat. There, you did not do nether, so your nether will not be get messed up. So even if you know that you are going to enter the bus and in the daytime or airplane and you are going to give kafara, but from the miqat, remember from the miqat, you are going to do all those violations, you'll have to pay kafara, your ihram will be intact. So where is the issue? What you said yesterday? We were talking about ihram via nether. Ihram via nether from Jeddah. That you have to refer to Sayyid Shubair Zinjani. Remember that? Nether, vow. But if you enter the state of ihram from the specific place or the parallel point of the miqat regularly without nether, normally without nether, without vow, then your ihram is correct. Even if you know that you are going to travel under the shaded means of transportation, which is daytime, you will have to pay penalty. Penalty, a goat. But nether, there's a serious issue there. So if you refer to Sayyid Shubair Zinjani and then you travel in the daytime via nether, then you pay penalty. And that's why we say try not to do the violations and try to travel at night. Make your traveling from Jeddah, especially via nether, at night time. Because night time, the only problem is the rain might come. So what will happen? The entire night, sleep in the bus until you arrive Makkah. So you will not know that it rained or not. Anyhow, we are going to discuss this later on when it comes the right time. There are some specification there about rain. And again, Shubair Zinjani. نعم. فيصح الإحرام. نعم إذا كان عازما حين الإحرام في العمرة المفردة على أن يجامع زوجته قبل الفراغ من السعي أو تردد في ذلك فالظاهر بطلان إحرامه وكذلك الحال في الاستمناء على الأحوط وجوبا. This is an exceptional case that it conflicts, serious conflict with ihram. So if he had intention, he was determined that during ihram, he's going to have ihram of Umrah al-Mufrada. He's going to have private relation with his wife before the sa'i, before completing the Safa and Marwa. Okay? Or he was hesitant. Should I have that intimate relation or something like intimate relation? How? They entered the state of Ihram in Miqat or nether from Jeddah. They came inside their hotel of Makkah. It was like very fancy 5-star hotel. The guy remembered I did not do proper honeymoon, this and that, and he was in rush and it is hyper things going on, and it just whoopsie daisy happened. Or he was planning, oh, that it's a fancy hotel, this tower and this and that. I should not miss my. And they were wearing clothes of ihram, and things happen sometimes, you see. Crazy things happen when one should avoid and keep their mind intellect, because shaitan utilizes this craziness many times. So he was he was determined to do, he intended to do Umrah Mufrada, and then he is going to have private relations with his wife before completing the sa'i. Safa Marwa. Or he was hesitant. Should I or should I not? Should I or should I not? فالظاهر بطلان إحرامه. Apparently, his ihram is batil. Now, some marja' might say, أظهر عدم البطلان and kafara. Most apparently, it will not be batil, there will be penalty. But say this is says, apparently, from the evidences, it is apparent, clear that his ihram will be invalid. وكذلك الحال في الاستمناء على الأحوط وجوبا. So the same cases about the self pleasure, self pleasure discharge, okay, by himself or anyhow by anything, self pleasure discharge. I don't want to say explicit words, but it's understood. And self pleasure discharge. Now, if somebody is going to do discharge by self pleasuring himself, or somebody is helping him in self pleasuring, whatever, in this situation, like wife or whatever. So now, say the Sistani, same ruling, his ihram will be invalid on the basis of obligatory precaution. But Sayyidina, why obligatory precaution? Because the narration has mentioned private relation, spousal relation, husband and wife. Okay? Did not mention this. But I have a problem. There are some indications that this is included in some other narrations, but there is no clear narration, clear evidence indicating that this is also going to invalidate. So that means there is a bara'a. So should I say, okay, there will be a penalty and ihram will be correct? That's bara'a. Or should I use ihtiyat? No. So he said, no, that my hesitation is strong. If you find another marja', then your ihram will be intact. But for me, if you do like this, your ihram will be invalid after entering the state of ihram. So, al ahwat wujuban, on the basis of obligatory precaution, self pleasure discharge is also going to invalidate your ihram on the basis of obligatory precaution. وأما لو عزم على الترك حين الإحرام ولم يستمر عزمه بأن نوى بعد تحقق الإحرام الإتيان بشيء منها لم يبطل إحرامه. However, if he intended to avoid all the 25 things, and these two things here, this ruling, this comment is for these two things. So if he said no, even if shaitan is there, even if the environment is romantic and luxurious and this and that, and even I'm not wearing except to dress, he was determined, okay, to stay away. ولم يستمر عزمه وأما لو عزم على الترك. However, if he had determined to leave or avoid these two things during the ihram, and his determination did not continue, that means what happened? Whoopsie daisy. بأن نوى بعد تحقق الإحرام. After entering the state of ihram, okay, he decided بشيء منها لم يبطل إحرامه. So what is the difference between the first segment and this? First segment, while ihram, okay, he had made his intention here. While ihram, حين الإحرام, during the ihram, he was planning to do this nasty stuff. Okay, but then here, no, during the ihram, he did not have this. He had intention to avoid. But after that, shaitan came to him, okay, and he intended. After that came, that's fine. That your ihram will be not valid, but it will be serious haram. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Tomorrow, inshallah, we are going to talk about labbaik.